الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. Again, we are grateful to God for giving us this opportunity, and this is not by accident. This is by divine design. And we are here at His pleasure, as I always say. And so we should make sure that we worship Him alone, and we ask for favors from Him alone, and we believe in Him alone. That means that we believe everything that He says. And so we should steadfastly persevere and continue this path, which is going to be the straight path, which is the path of God, and it's going to take us, inshallah, back to our Creator. Again, gratefulness is a godlike quality, and so we should be also grateful to God and follow His path. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to go back to personal God that we were talking about last week. And so I've chosen a few verses from chapter 27, the ant. And so I'm going to read from verse 60. God says, "Who is the one who created the vacuum and matter and sent down for you water from the sky, and we grew with it orchards with natural beauty. You could have never grown their trees. Is there any other God but God? However, there are people who make equals to God." Okay, so God is talking to His servants and explaining the creation that He has created, and He challenges us. Says, "Is there any other God but God?" So we have to make sure that we worship God alone and we believe in God alone. Okay, so it's a paramount that we have to follow that way of life. Then God says, "Who is the one who made the land as an abode and made rivers therein and made mountains therein and made a barrier between the two seas? Is there any other God but God? However, most of them do not know." Okay, so people have the tendency to somehow give some partnership to some other entities that they believe that somehow they have some kind of power, opposing really the literal word of God, that power belongs to God alone and no one else. So there is no other power except what belongs to God. Then God says, "Who is the one who responds to the desperate when He calls upon Him, and removes the ills and made you inheritors of the land? Is there any other God with God? Only very few of you take heed." Okay, so again, the ills that you have is removed by God, and God is telling us about this. This is very important for us to know. Okay, when you are going to the doctor and you have some kind of illness, and your illness is cured, you have to remember that God is the one who is doing that. It's not your doctor. Okay, it's God who is removing that ill from you. And so we have to remember that doesn't mean not to go to the doctors, okay? But I'm just saying that a lot of people go to the doctor and they have the same kind of treatment. One responds positively to treatment and the other one doesn't. Same kind of illness. And so who is the one who is doing that? It's God who is doing that. Okay, then God says, Who is the one who guides you in the darkness of the land and the sea? Okay. See, if you were somewhere and you didn't have any means to basically provide light for yourself, who is the one who guides you? And then God has also created stars. The North Star is always fixed in the sky. So by looking at that fixed star, you know which way north is. Okay, so that's how He guides you in the darkness. Without even a compass. You won't have a compass, but you know exactly where the north is. And so that's God who's doing that. Okay. Even the light that you are providing for yourself, you think that you brought a flashlight or something. The knowledge of making that flashlight is coming from God. God gave you that knowledge, and a lot of people don't think this way. Okay? So the roads that you are making in the land, God is the one who made it because He gave you the knowledge to do it. So when He says that He created land for you or roads for you in the land, because then people somehow think that goes back to the idea that only this planet has roads and no one else has roads. There are places in this world right now that there are no roads, because those people don't have the knowledge to build roads. But you have the knowledge to build roads and made them smooth roads. Okay? They are not rocky roads. They are not roads that are very difficult to travel within. They are nice roads. They are paved roads. So who has given you that knowledge? And God says He is the one who has given you that knowledge. Okay? He's the one who guides you. Okay? So if you have signs that says so many kilometers or so many miles to this town or this town or this town, okay? God is the one who created that for you because He gave you the knowledge to do that. Okay? Who is the one who guides you in the darkness of the land and the sea? And who is the one who sends the wind from His readily available mercy as good news? Is there any other God with God? Exalted is God, far above having partners. Okay, so again, God is introducing Himself in these verses as a personal God that is creating everything for us. Even the thing that we are making and building. Okay? So when our children or our grandchildren, all those people, okay, that we don't know about that coming in the future, most of the people are yet to come anyway. Okay? The population of this world since the 70s has gone from 3 billion to almost 8 billion. That means that 5 billion people are born after 1970. Okay? And that's only 50 years ago. 5 billion people did not exist 50 years ago. They're new people. Okay? So our descendants, when they go to Mars, there are no roads on Mars, but they're going to create roads on Mars. Okay? There's water there, but it's in form of thermofrost. So who's going to provide water for them? God is going to do that because God is going to give them the knowledge to get that water out. Okay? Saudi Arabia is a desert, but they have water there. So where do they get the water from? They don't have the Great Lakes. Great Lakes is freshwater lakes. They're all freshwater. So you can get your drinking water from a lake. And the rest of the waters are seawater. And that seawater is salty. You can't drink it. It's not palatable. So who gives you the knowledge to drill a hole in the ground and make a well to reach water? God is the one who does it. Okay? People think that you go and open the faucet or something like that and the water comes out. Who has given you that knowledge? God has given you that knowledge. Okay. Who is the one who initiates creation, then repeats it? Okay? God creates and repeats. We don't know what he repeats, how he does it, what kind of thing he does. He doesn't have to tell you and me. Okay? We were excluded from witnessing creation because we didn't deserve it. Mistakes that we made, the decisions that we made were ungodly decisions. And that actually prevented us from witnessing the creation of the heavens and the earth, if you like, the old mentality, or vacuum and matter. We were not privy to do that, to witness that, nor creation of ourselves. We were not privileged to do that because we made mistakes. We were not worthy of that scene. Okay, so I don't know how he does it. He does it, obviously, and that is enough for me. And who is the one who provides for you from the vacuum and matter? Okay, a lot of people think vacuum is just emptiness of space. No, that vacuum has a structure. God says it in the Quran. So the vacuum is a structure. We don't know it. Einstein understood that a long time ago. That vacuum had a structure. It was a firmament. As it says in the Old Testament. Okay. Provides for you from the vacuum and matter. Who is this guy? Who is this entity that does this? God. God is the one who does it. It's a personal God. Is there any other God beside God? Do you have any other God beside him? Say, present your proof if you're truthful. Okay? So where is your proof? Where is the proof that this entity or this entity had any partnership in creation of the vacuum and matter? Where is that proof? Did all the idols that we keep mentioning besides God have any power or any contribution to it? God said they are created themselves. Okay? So we have to make sure that, as I said, these verses here that we read, okay, we have to pay attention to them. And don't take them as just fables or things that does not give us information. And then we go outside the Quran to find information. And that information is wrong. That information is not correct. That information is wrong. Or understand the Quran in terms of things that somehow this planet is unique. And God's hands are tied behind his back and he can't do any other one just like this one. Okay. I said, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 100 years. Okay. People are talking about terraforming. That means that you make a planet to be just like Earth. And now the question is, who is doing that? The person who has intelligence knows that God is doing that because God has given the knowledge to those people who actually can do that. And he can take away that knowledge very fast and substitute another group of people who do not be like them, who are not like them. Okay? So it's easy for God. So God gives knowledge to certain people, and those people will find things out, how to do things. They find a way to drill a hole in the ground in the desert and reach water. That's where your water comes in a desert country. They don't have running water that's coming from the river or something like that. Okay? But they know how to get the water. So who has given them that knowledge? Is Mars drier than Saudi Arabia? Okay. As I said, God says, look around you and find things out. Okay. Saudi Arabia is an arid land. So some entity has given them that knowledge to do those things and get water. Desalination of the seawaters. God will show you methodologies by which you can actually get the salt out of the seawater and make palatable drinking water. So who has given you that? Who provides that for you? Is that easier to get or some running spring that runs all the time and never dries? Okay, there are rivers that dry. There are rivers that do not exist anymore. There are lakes that are evaporating and do not exist anymore because of what we have done to ourselves. Okay, just look around you and see. Okay, there are rivers that completely have dried out. No more flowing rivers. So, but now if we are going back to God, do not force other people to follow our nation. Okay? If we give freedom of religion to everybody, God will teach us things that we did not know before, and we can actually create water, or we can provide water for ourselves. Okay, from dry land. The lakes are going to come to be again. That's how God does it. Okay. This land that seems to be so rich, okay, it was occupied before. It wasn't this rich. South America is the same land. There's no difference between these two things. Why is it that land is not as fertile and as readily producing as this one does? Think about these things. These are things that we have to think about. Okay? If we turn away from this way of life, we force our opinion on other people, if we force our way of life on other people, God will take it away from us and will give it to another group of people who would not be like us. This is God's system. It's not going to change. So anyway, we should read read the whole surah. It's a beautiful surah. Okay, this is about things that the ant is talking, and Solomon can hear the ant talking, and the hoopoe is talking, a bird is talking, and Solomon can understand and has a conversation with hoopoe. Okay, so all of those things are here, and you can read it and enjoy it. And again, pay attention to these things. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and we'll finish this rakah. Allahu Kabir.